Okay, before we approve the agenda, I will ask if there are any additions or deletions to the agenda.
David, I'd like to add, I don't know really how you want to word it, but that ARP committee, I guess we'll leave it at that.
Just put that as a number 11, I guess.
That'd be fine.
Any other additions or deletions? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. I think we have one person that's signed in, Sharon Flynn.
Good evening. I'm here today to, I guess, make some comments and maybe some requests concerning the ARP committee. First of all, I appreciate the fact that you, as the county council, did appoint me as a person to represent the community on the ARP committee. The concern that I have is that when we first formed this committee at the very first meeting, we talked about multiple things that were voted on and approved by the committee. One of those things, the very first item, was that we would follow Robert's rules. Another thing that we decided, or that we talked about, and that, yes.
Hang on a minute, Sherry. Some of this, I think, maybe if it would be allowable, that Sherry would be allowed to speak on number 11 rather than now. Because I've got some stuff to go along with where she's headed, I think, if Sherry agrees to that. And
Maybe I'll just say something really brief and then speak.
Would that be okay?
Yeah,
I mean, that's up to you, David, however you would like for it to happen.
that's all right.
But okay, so basically I'll just get to the point. I am very displeased that the county commissioners have taken it upon themselves to make a unilateral decision to change the makeup of the ARP committee midstream. We have a group of people who have worked together and have not always agreed on everything, as every committee doesn't. All 7 of you don't agree on things all the time. But you continue to show up every meeting. You continue to work together like adults. And just because things don't go the way that some people don't want them to go, we don't just burn it all down. The commissioners and the council decided very carefully and thoughtfully the makeup of the committee. And then for a reason unbeknownst to me, at the last commissioners meeting, without warning, the makeup of our committee was changed. Not only was the makeup of our committee changed, our chairman was taken off of the committee, which I believe is a very poor decision. And so the only reason that was given for changing the makeup is that we needed fewer members because we were having a hard time getting a quorum. It disturbs me that the committee was not consulted before that, number one, and number two, it is absolutely not true that we have a hard time getting a quorum. If you look at official meetings, we have every single meeting that was an official meeting had a quorum, every meeting. So the reason was given we couldn't get a quorum with 7 people. We've always had a quorum. And I'll answer other questions at the other part as you requested. I'm sorry if I took too much time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry.
Next on the agenda is transfers. First we begin with County General. From deputy shared to deputy within the Perry County Auditor's budget, $6,125.34.
This is the remaining money that is sitting in the deputy shared after the last meeting that I was given the full-time position. So this is putting that in where the full-time deputies are, and I'm hoping that I won't have to ask for an additional to make up the difference, but if nothing else, I'm hoping I can transfer it within my budget if I need a little bit more.
Okay. Any questions of Pam? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have from culverts, 60,000, from gas and oil, 60,000, transferring to local road bridge matching grant, Perry County Highway Department. I think that's for the community crossings grant for your match, or is that the total match?
Yes.
120,000?
Well, our match is gonna be 460.
Oh, okay, I thought there was more.
Yeah, that's what we need to make up the rest of it.
Okay. So your community crossings grant was what? The total is 1.133, wasn't it?
1,465,000.
Okay.
Total, was the total.
Does anyone have any questions for Steve? He's sitting here. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Approve. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have additional appropriations within the county general fund. I guess we'll do these separate probably.
You can, I've got the stuff here on Rachel's, so she gave it to
On
me.
Rachel, postage meter release, $600. I think she said she forgot to put that on when she did her
She
budget.
did, and she still has 2 payments to be made. Well, she's already made the one, and when, wait a minute.
She pays
No,
out 300.
after she got done making, she makes 6 payments. After she made the first 4, she's only got $91 left and 83 cents. And with the $600 additional, then she can make the last 2 payments she needs to make.
She said she got to pay every 3 months. I guess that's not true. Must be every 2 months.
Well, here, it looks like she had to, April, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
Oh, part of it was a contract too. She pays something out with the contract on there too with the lease, it looks like. She just brought me this over before the end of the day.
So she just had understated her
Yeah.
request in the budget. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next item is Perry County Sheriff, fuel and oil for police cars, $40,000. Alan?
I had to ask for this to get through the rest of the year. In April, we had 5,800. May, we had 5,400. And June, we had 6,300. Everybody knows gas is up, and I definitely don't want to make a public safety issue, but I hated we asked it. We have to have this.
Or you like about at zero in that
It's going to be close.
at this point, or,
Yeah, we're close, and that's the reason I asked for the entire 40. We hopefully get through the
so
year.
is that going to carry you through the end of the year then, you think?
That's what we're hoping. That's why we asked for that amount. We kind of looked at the last 3 months. Here are,
Gas is down a little bit right now. So gas is down a little bit right now, so.
that's
Yeah,
what
I guess.
last 3
It
months.
may go down a little.
I hope it goes down a lot more. But right now, that's just the last 3 months.
Kind of goes with the price increase. Going to go up. It went down a little bit. Depends on your driving, I guess, too.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of varies from each day. I mean, they might go from Bristow to way out in the county somewhere
How many
to,
cars is that?
How many?
Probably,
We
on
have-
average,
how many what?
cars.
We have 10 right now.
Yeah.
And then plus we have transports and everything else.
I mean, honestly, we got a whole lot of choice
No.
buying fuel, so I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Next, we have Perry County Coroner autopsy fees of $7,000. I think that's for 4 additional autopsies.
Yes, right now, in my line item, I'm $340 in the red, and since that turned in the last claim, we've had another autopsy since then, so by the time of the year's out, I hope we don't have very many more, but at the same time, I figure $7,000, when you're figuring that autopsy's costing you about $1,800 at a time. I don't know, you know, I'm hoping 7 will get us through, but there's no guarantee because.
That's $7,200.
Yeah.
$200 short.
Well, if we, depends on how many more we have. I'm hoping, you know, it's one of those things that there's no way to determine. You know, we might go rest year without having an autopsy, and we might go rest, you know, these next 5 months with 2 a month. We don't know.
But right now, this is just to pay.
Well, this is to cover the 340 that I'm in the red, plus the last autopsy I had was done 2 weeks ago, and then rest of that be used for a balance for if we have any more.
Oh, so what are we gonna do if we don't have any?
Don't have any more autopsies?
Roll back.
I'll be thankful.
Okay.
It'll go back, because the autopsy fund I don't use for anything else. It's a line item I use for autopsies, and if it's not used for that, the county gets it back at the end of the year, so. Unless I need it for gas, and then I'll come see if Alan will give me some of his.
Once again,
Can we go ahead and make a motion on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Warren. Next, we have, under the Perry County Commissioners, budget care of patients in institutions, $45,000.
Make a motion to approve that.
A second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next, Perry County Planning and Zoning, we are doing, I guess, some new county zoning maps. We're going to be taking this out of the Riverboat Fund, a total of $5,000. I think that's being done by Indiana 15, isn't it?
Region 15. We're waiting on, Tom, do you want to speak or you want me to speak about it? Okay, we're mandated by law to update the county maps ever so often. In the budget for last year, they put in $1,200 for this. That's not enough. So we were asking for this $5,000 to be put in place, and if it's not used, because still the commissioners have to look at the contract, and the planning board has to okay the contract and send it to the commissioners. So it's going to be down the road, but the money can't be used for anything else other than the maps.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
I will abstain.
4-0 and 1 abstention. Our next item is ARP 2021 Coronavirus Local Fund, Perry County Commissioners. This is for our consulting services for our Baker Tilly in the amount of $37,234.
You need.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
I can, yes. The ARP committee agreed that we needed Baker Tilly to review some of our, to review the claims. And this $37,234 is a not to exceed amount that can be paid out of the ARP funds. They will charge us an hourly rate, but this $37,234 is a not to exceed. If we had consulted them as a county, we would have to pay them anyway. This just gives us the ability to pay them out of the ARP money. Does that make sense?
It's like 1%.
1%.
I make a motion to approve it, because we gotta have somebody that keep us from hopefully not paying anything back.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
Motion carries 4-0 with 1 abstention. Okay, that completes our additional appropriations. Our next item is Health Department approval of Forms 144s, statement of salaries and wages on their grants. I think we did it, actually approved those, but we didn't do the 144s, did we?
Correct, you approved the grants the night that they were here and had you to approve all the grants that they had, but we failed to get the 144s in place, and now we need to, so we can make sure they get paid.
Do I need to read any of this? There's two grants.
New grants.
Emergency preparedness and then a health immunization grant. The one is for 8,414 emergency preparedness, and then the health immunization grant is for 62,862.80.
And these is just for the salary parts only.
Right. And it's divided amongst nurse supervisor, and nurse, sanitarian, a registrar,
Yep.
insurance card registrar.
I'm sorry, is that for overtime?
No.
No.
It's just a grant, it's part of their salary. Yep.
And the one position is where she's fully funded, strictly from the grant.
The other the payroll and data entry person is fully funded. So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is assessor, request of shared deputy position to part-time position. Minnie Lasseling, is she here?
Nope, she's on vacation.
No, I think she
Or no
just
letter.
had other plans tonight. 'Cause
That
she's
was
off.
the other
Just send us a letter.
She did, she was going to a conference out in Colorado, in NACO, because she's on the AIC board.
Thought she
That
said.
was
And
the last.
I think she thought the meeting was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Problem
I had a couple of
have,
questions for her, but she's not here.
the problem I have with this is we bought the new computers, the new software, to tie all the offices together. Apparently, that's not working out the greatest because we're not, eliminating, I'm not saying eliminate employees, but it's, you would have hoped that if you was more efficient, it would take less.
I was wanting to question, and then maybe you know this, Tom, when did we begin using Tyler Technologies? Tyler Technology,
I don't
the
know.
software?
2004.
When?
2004.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. You said it's been a long time.
So it's been almost, it's been a number of
It's been a
years.
while, yeah.
I was just curious as to when those people, or when that software was instituted, did it, what kind of, did it save it? Who was doing the work prior to that is what I was wanting to question. Why did that, they do a lot of functions now, so I'm just curious who did it before, is what I was wanting to know. Of course, you're going back a number of years. It didn't change our,
I think with the questions we have, only thing we can just
Employees?
table it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's the only fair thing to do.
I mean, maybe it's, maybe all
Maybe it's
legit, I'm not picking on anybody, but it just.
I'm not either, but
We can do that.
I make a motion, we table.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of tabling it at this meeting, and we'll bring it up again the next meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next item is Commissioner's request to fill administrative position.
You need me to speak on
Yep. We're losing somebody, she's got big shoes to fill.
that? Yes.
Size 14, I think.
We got a disappointing, yet understandable resignation from Teresa Canterbury 2 weeks ago for the county administrative position. I'm here requesting to the council that that you allow us to fill that position that she's vacating. She's been here, done a great job for us, 13 years. and her last day is actually tomorrow. So that's my request.
I guess you haven't advertised or anything.
We have, because with the contingency that the council approves filling it,
I remember that.
to try to get,
Applicants.
try to get applicants, which
Have we got
we,
many applicants?
none.
So in the interim, till we hire somebody, are you going to do her work?
Who's gonna do it?
It actually falls on the auditor.
Yeah, the auditor's office.
Yes, that's who that work falls on.
And I'm hoping I have 3 commissioners that will help
Help,
out greatly.
yes, yes.
Because I'm gonna need it.
To anyone to fill all the, one thing that we've done is with the responsible employee representative for the highway department, we've actually got Jared Henniger is going to fill that position, is what Teresa done. So we're starting to fill her duties, and it needed to fall on that anyway, so.
Yeah. What was that again?
Hmm.
What was that you said, Kate?
Jared.
Responsible employee,
ERC.
ERC.
All right, I got you. All right.
It's just one segment of what she was doing.
Right,
I
so
understand.
it's, you know, so the other segments will have to be divvied out. Quite honestly, Teresa's done more than one person's job, more than one full-time.
You know, I was talking to her today, and I said, there's probably little things that you do that no one realizes you do them. You know?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So there may be some interruptions in certain things as live streaming. I know Pam has taken on that responsibility, but it is a great, so hopefully there won't be too much interruption, but there may be some interruption in live streaming of some of the county meetings. But
As
we're
long as the
gonna-
meetings are in the evening, there's no reason Teresa can't come back and still do it.
Except for Teresa not coming back and doing them. And I don't know the proper way of doing this. Teresa said that she would help us out in a limited amount of, she doesn't want to come back full-time, but she will help us out. So at one time or another, we'll probably need to request a compensation for that beyond the work day of her new job. And I'm not sure how we want to do that. We want to set a rate, and I probably there probably needs to be a council, maybe want to have that discussion on what we can do and what she'll accept.
So we
You know.
just do like a
What do you
consultant.
request?
Consulting, yes.
Maybe we need to ask her what she's requesting.
Right, like I said, and I think this is a council thing, but I am requesting that the council would consider negotiating with her for consultation, part-time, however
I'm
you
sure
want to
she'll
put
be
it.
reasonable.
I hope so.
So too.
Yeah. So that's, unless you got any questions, I mean, she gave proper notice, and it's going to be a huge job to fill.
Where's she going, prosecutor's office?
She's not leaving county government, but
Right.
she's leaving the courthouse. So, thank you for your time here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa.
Hope you consider it.
Make a motion.
I need a motion to fill this position.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0. 2023 council budget approval. I think this is basically the same as it was last year, isn't it?
It is, we put the 5%, or 5% was put on to the attorney. The council position, it was kind of stated at the commissioners meeting, if the council was agreement, no raises. And then Teresa did up the travel by $500, considering if any of the new council members, or any of the other ones want to attend any meetings or things, because $500 just really isn't near enough to go to meetings. So we did increase it up to $500. And then you got the 144 that you need to approve with that also, so.
I assume everybody's okay with no increase. So I would need a motion to approve this budget and 144.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next item is update on redemption of detention center bonds, and I think Pam paid those off yesterday.
July 27th, yes.
So-
Paid it off.
That tax will be going away come January 1st, 2023. And I have also been working on a draft of for modifying our local income tax. And I've been in contact with Jason Simler, Baker & Taylor, and he had said that he would work with us on modifying the tax rate and what we were doing. I think I've mentioned this at other meetings, that we were going to increase the certified sheriffs by 0.02, the public safety for the purpose of PSAP by 0.02, and then the local income tax by 0.05. Not the local income tax, the edit tax. Which what we wanted to do with that was to establish a fund for the long-term maintenance of all county buildings. And of course, that would have to be, when the commissioners do their plan, they would have to include that. And of course, if you have a change of commissioners, I guess they could do away with it next time. Hopefully they wouldn't, but we just thought that'd be a good way, a good start to maintain our buildings, throughout the county. It should bring in roughly a couple $100,000 a year. And I think it's something that we need to be thinking about, because I think we got a lot of, like Teresa mentioned one time, a lot of repairs here on the parking lot here, and we got a new phone system or whatever I think we're working with, so there's a lot of things that
There's always
going on.
something. What was the edit?
And then once we okay, well, we did, what'd you say?
5, wasn't it?
0.05%. Once we, of course, the special legislation 0.5 will go away, and then the 0.05, 0.02, a total of 0.09, so we'll have a net effective tax rate of 1.4, down from 1.81. So that's the plan. And we need to, I probably need to take this before the state, and just the draft, and let them review it. And in doing so, you have to do that, give them 30 days to take time to review it. And so I think we need to, as soon as Jason gets back August 4th, like I said, I've already done a draft. I think it'll pass with him, but we will submit that to the state and let them look at it. And then we have to do a public hearing, which we have to give 10 days notice on that. So I'm thinking we probably would do it September 22nd before our regular meeting, because I don't think we want to do it before October 1, because if we do, we want to do it before October 1 so we can get it in January 1st. Of 2023.
Do we need to do this hearing and that before we have our budget hearing?
No.
We don't.
No, because right now, the figures that I'll be getting will be estimate lit figures. And by the time that the state gets our new changes and everything, then we should get certified lit figures, I would say about November generally. So hopefully that they got all the new rates in place and everything, when they send out the certified rates, it will have the changes in there to what we're getting.
Actually, if you made this change, well, we don't have time to make it before September anyway, but if we were to make it January through August, it would become effective this October. And I don't think we want that.
No.
So I think we just need to go with September. So I'm going to shoot for the 22nd, which is our regular meeting. We'll do it, that's what we did last year. We did prior to our September meeting.
David, I have a question on the bonds that were paid off. How much was left over into that fund for the detention center? Do you know, Pam?
Darn, it's not gonna show on the report that you guys got tonight. I think it was 1.9,
And
almost
then
2
we'll
million.
continue to collect,
Right, for this year.
what is it, 170 each month.
Where's that money gonna go?
That is,
For the jail, because what's left over is to
Okay, it's
maintain
gonna go,
the
yeah, it's
jail.
gonna go into
It's for the
that-
maintaining the
I
jail, the
recall.
detention center,
I
yes.
recall that, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and I did talk with, no, I didn't talk to him, I emailed Fred Bandor of DLGF, and he said that we would not collect any more money in 2023. I don't know if he's, I'm still not sure if he understood that totally, because he says if you do it prior to October 1, you won't collect anymore. But I still didn't, I don't know how many months in arrears they are, because I thought there would still be a little, but, and there may be, but that's what he seemed to think. But we do collect it through the end of 2022. Okay, that completes that. The next item is ARP committee.
Okay, the action at the commissioners meeting this past week or whatever, kind of thought, I don't understand. Before I was on this council agreed with the commissioners in the crowd, so they agreed. As a matter of fact, the minutes from the commissioners meeting, was the forming of the committee for the ARP. Long story short, they agreed that it would be a 7-member committee. Then this council on the 22nd agreed and made a motion. Tom was in the audience, 7-member council. There's been talk, like Sherry said, of having a problem with a quorum. I've been to some of the ARP meetings. I have watched all the ARP committee meetings. I was at this last rush meeting where they didn't have a quorum.
It was not an official meeting.
So, correct, couldn't be because they didn't have a quorum, but that was after the commissioners had decided that they only wanted 1 commissioner on there instead of 2. I don't know if it's the council's place or was it the commissioner's place, but I don't see where they legitimately had the power, because they're talking about and to top it off, they've had 2 more resignations. Aaron's resigned, Tara's resigned, and they booted Randy. Sure, they're gonna have trouble having, they're down to 4 people, or 3 people, because the council's position that Luke had, that Randy had, that I now have, has never been filled. Was told to move up to the ARP. Sherry?
I just had a comment on the remaining members. As you said, there are 3 members, so that now leaves 1 councilman, 1 commissioner, and myself to represent the public. And personally, as an individual, I am, flattered to be selected by the council to represent the community, but I don't feel it's appropriate for 1 person in this entire county to represent the community. As 1 person, I cannot speak for the whole community. And so when we have people who want to be on the committee, and then we have other people resigning, why are we kicking people off the committee who want to be on the committee? And at the yeah, I know you weren't around, but at the very first meeting we had, one of the other things that occurred was we were assured by the councilmen and the commissioners who sat on the committee that it was it was stated, it was a three-tier process. Those are the words that were used. I went back and looked at the video today. A three-tier process that included the committee, the councilmen, and the commissioners. Yet this decision to change the makeup of the committee was made by
The commissioners.
by two commissioners on their own without the committee's input. And I'm sorry, but one person coming up, I don't represent the whole committee. I'm speaking because one person on our committee got up and told the commissioners that we had a problem with a quorum. And as I said, we have never, go back and look at the meeting, we have never not had a quorum, not ever.
That one special meeting.
That was not, well, I have an issue with that too. That was not a meeting.
Why wasn't it a meeting, Sherry? Explain that to me.
Charlie, we agreed to follow Robert's rules. The chairman calls the meeting. The chairman had called him.
But
Can
the
I
chairman
finish?
was-
You asked me a question.
Okay.
May I please finish? The chairman had called a meeting for tonight after this meeting. We agreed at our first meeting that our meetings would be immediately after the council meetings, yet not before 6:15, because we wanted a time when the public would know. And so the chairman said, this is when we're having a meeting. He did that for a reason. We were awaiting final approval from Baker Tilly. But a couple people decided they couldn't wait till then. They wanted to have one, which made no sense because you don't want to make decisions without having funding approved. But 3 people on a 7-committee member cannot get together and roguely decide we're going to have a meeting. If David, how would you feel as the chairman of this if 3 of the 7 people on here got together and said, we're going to have a meeting, and David said, no, the meeting is this time, and here's the reason for it, and then they just went ahead and tried to have a meeting? To me, it was a setup. The meeting was set when Commissioner Cole could not attend and when I could not attend.
And there was some reason, I hate to interrupt you, Sherry, I apologize.
No, it's fine.
But there was, if you was at the meeting, which I was, or if you reviewed the footage on YouTube, off the YouTube, and you listened, they were very insistent on bringing somebody. They didn't care if she resigned, she hadn't put it in writing.
But yet we want to take someone off who
Why?
has committed tons of time, made great contributions, and has done nothing wrong that I can see other than follow the rules. And if the question is what the issue is, it didn't come out the way we hoped. And I'm going to look at Tom and Charlie both and say, we all hope to award a lot of money, but the procedures that we agreed upon, it didn't come out that way. Well, you don't just burn it all down. We all agreed we were going to move forward now and come up with a round 2 so that we could go ahead and give more money out like we wanted to, but we also all agreed we were waiting for final approval for Baker Tilly. But for some reason, they couldn't wait 2 more weeks for that, and so, thank you.
May I address that issue now?
I think Tom would.
Because honestly, and first of all, I want to say, Sherry and Randy, that I do appreciate your work, and believe it or not, it wasn't a witch hunt. How that came that night at our commissioner meeting, or that morning, was it was brought, and the question was asked, was Randy Cole ever officially appointed on there to replace as a commissioner? And the answer was no. And that's the final. Then it was brought up in discussion a little bit, can we just get by with 5? Well, I wanted to have that discussion with the council too. We did not kick Randy off, we just didn't take any action. Randy, you know you and I didn't.
You kicked him
You
off.
can't sell that and go on.
Okay,
It's obvious.
listen,
It's obvious.
Go
okay.
on. If you don't want me on that, I don't.
No. Randy, did we not work well together on the committee?
Yes,
I thought we did.
Yes.
Sherry, did you and I work well together?
very well, Tom.
And honestly, Randy, you and I did work well together on it. We didn't take any action, and I didn't, so we got a meeting Monday, we can take action.
My question is why the commissioners would decide without consulting the committee to change the number.
We didn't have, we hadn't had a chance to yet. We didn't change it. We just
But you made
didn't.
the vote, I watched the commissioners meeting. You all voted to change it. You changed the number of people on the committee.
We asked if we could, at that time, but we could still add to it with council input. How do we want to move forward? Do we want to move forward with appointing another commissioner? The point was made that this committee has 2 commissioners on it, which is a quorum for the commissioners. Is that fair? That's a question. Is that fair that we have 2 commissioners on this committee, and then when it goes from the committee to the commissioners, is that decision already made? Now,
Not if there's 7 people, it's not already made. That's
There
why
was-
you guys
the
decided
committee
to make
makes it.
It
The
was
committee
there
makes
for
it.
over a year.
I know, but what I'm saying is, why, we can still go back to 7 or continue with 7. Yes, Dan.
I think we need to.
Okay, well then at our next commissioners meeting, we can't make that decision tonight.
What was the original makeup?
7 people.
The 7, okay, and it required one council, the council would appoint somebody?
2.
Two.
Two.
The commissioners would
One
appoint
commissioner.
2.
1 or 2?
2.
2. Did any of them have to be a commissioner or a councilman?
I understood that 2 had to be commissioners and 2 had to be council. That's what I understood.
Well, the question was asked
just
to Chris
correct.
Goffman at the meeting. I looked at the minutes of it.
Uh-huh.
And he said it didn't matter how many people were on the committee. You can appoint as many as you want. A commissioner actually said we could have 3 commissioners and 3 councilmen and 3 from the public.
Mhm.
That's in the minutes of the commissioners meeting.
I believe
Might have
that.
been
Yeah,
used.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay, so, and Chris Goffman said, it doesn't matter how many you want on there, as long as you publish 48 hours in advance
Right.
of your open meeting.
Exactly. Yes, I'm not disputing that one bit.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is, I know some feelings got hurt. I apologize, Randy, if I did. But we can fix this, and we can get back to where we're at.
We need to, for the public's sake. I
We
mean, we've
got along good,
Absolutely.
and I thought that everybody on the committee, I think that it is a shame that Tara has her health issues and she quit. And for the reasons that Aaron quit, I hate that because I thought they were very contributing to it. Now, Greg was on it, but Greg resigned as commissioner, and which he was one of the commissioners. Now, it was assumed that Randy just took that because he took his place, but it wasn't acted upon. And the question came up in our last commissioners meeting. We have a commissioners meeting Monday, and it could be brought up at a commissioners meeting. Should the commissioners name another person on that, Randy, okay, let's put that on the agenda Monday at our commissioners
That would
meeting.
certainly fix it, rather than just changing the number of people on the committee.
This is not easy. I mean, there's no rule, I mean, there's no book that tells us how to do this. We are trying to do this the best we can, and I truly believe that everybody involved wants to do what's best for the county and the people of the county with the $3.7 million. I truly believe that everybody involved, including everybody on the original ARP committee and the ones that have, that, like Randy was put on there later after Luke went to his other job out of town.
He was, but he's been on there since January and has spent hours and hours working on this. And for continuity, it doesn't make sense to get rid
Okay,
of him.
well,
What happened,
we can do
Tom,
that.
to where it became an issue that Randy didn't belong? What
The
triggered that?
question was asked.
And I brought that question up because he was appointed by this council as a councilman on the ARP. He resigned his position. He lost that position. He became a commissioner. The commissioners never appointed him as that. That was what my question was. I even said in that meeting, if you guys have done this and I didn't see it, it's a dead issue. But he hasn't been, he didn't get the position just because he became a commissioner. It wasn't automatic. That's what the
At
question
that
was.
point, then you should have reappointed him.
Okay, but that's your opinion, but what is wrong with thinking about it
It's all right.
for 2 weeks? I mean,
Yeah, but you
honestly.
didn't think about it. You
Just
didn't.
No, we didn't. We took no, Keith, listen, Keith, we did not take action. That was it. That gives us time to think about it. And if you're gonna fault elected officials
But
for thinking about what to do next,
You need to appoint a person.
A person.
We need to pound.
Was there not a vote at that meeting? There was a vote at that meeting?
not, the vote was to leave it alone for now, yeah. I mean, I don't.
The vote was that he wouldn't be on the
The
committee.
vote was that Randy wouldn't be on the committee anymore.
Okay.
okay, the question was
You can watch the
asked.
video.
I forget the exact wording,
Okay.
but I intended it to be, we did not appoint anyone else on it. That's the way I understood it.
We can still fix this.
Right, that we thought at that time that we could take it down to 5
Let
people,
Tom-
yeah.
We can still fix it.
Exactly, exactly. We
We're
can,
making a big
In a
deal.
calm manner. No,
that's what I'm saying. We haven't,
So do we have to
Randy
have,
and Keith.
can we get,
I mean, we got
can we get
people-
past it if we fix it?
We got people quitting the ARP.
Right.
You know, so.
I mean,
I
can,
think somebody
Maybe that's-
needs to own up
maybe
for
that's
what
some of
they
the problem.
did instead of trying to make it look like a misunderstanding.
I'm not.
nobody said misunderstanding. Somebody, it's,
And
you,
hold on, I want to answer this question.
Yeah.
I asked a question, okay, because it was assumed that Randy was on the ARP as a commissioner. I asked that question. I was informed by the two commissioners, no, he's not. He wasn't kicked off because he wasn't appointed. You can't be kicked off something when you're not appointed.
What brought that question after he had
If
been
if you would have
attending
looked at this
meetings and he
agenda,
was-
that, this illegal meeting that we tried to call,
and it was.
the first topic was ARP committee membership, discussion. We were going to ask that question that night to Randy if he had been appointed by the commissioners. We did not have a quorum, we could not do
because
that.
it wasn't a meeting. Again, 3 councilmen can't just get together and come up
The
with an agenda.
co-chairperson called the
She is
meeting.
not the co-chair.
Yes, she was. You better
she's
look in
not.
the
Charlie,
minutes,
you
Sherry.
better look at the minutes.
You
You
better.
are, I'm gonna pull them up right now if you like me to,
I've got
Charlie.
them right here.
Be-
Pull 'em up. See what it
Great, I'd
says.
love to read them.
can I ask a
Says vice
question?
chair.
Hey, Charlie,
He's not the
please,
co-chair.
please, can I ask a question? Can we put our efforts on moving forward?
Yes, thank you.
That's fine
And
with me. I
that
have
we've
no
spent
problem.
too much time arguing over the makeup of the committee. The effort should be on the committe's work.
Right, exactly. I
Right.
agree 100%.
Now, if I made a
One
mistake,
recommendation.
I'm gonna say, if I made a mistake last Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Okay, accepted,
Accept-
accepted. Thank you.
Okay,
If Randy accepts,
Let's
hopefully Randy
well,
will
I
accept.
mean, we can't take action tonight as commissioners, but if we bring up next Monday evening to appoint Randy on there, then it's up to him whether he accepts it.
That will be on your agenda.
I can put that on there. Yes, I will put that on my, we'll have to add it to the agenda.
Okay, and you appoint one, we need to appoint one, because we only got one council.
Right, now we're having this discussion.
Now it's 5, so how do we get the other 2?
I don't remember who
Okay.
appointed the other
Tara
two.
was a joint
Joint.
between the council and commissioners.
So do the commissioners have 2
Aaron
appointments?
was the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
So we must have had 2 appointments then.
No.
How did we come with 7?
Commissioners
No.
have
Sharon
to
is the council.
Okay, that board.
Tara, both boards
Right.
agreed to who that person.
Sharon.
And we can address filling those positions.
So that's 2 and 2s for,
If we can fill these positions tonight, we need to.
Yeah.
Well, the ARP needs
Right,
to
we
get
can't
their
fill
act
ours.
Yes, you can.
Without rushing.
We can't fill ours.
No, but we
I know
can
you
fill
can
the
fill
council.
yours, but
And
you
we-
can Monday.
And we can, but generally we give any appointments to any board that we give 6 weeks' notice. That's what we've done for the past several years on any
Even when you're
boards.
appointing someone from your own
But we
member
can-
here, that,
I've never seen that when you appoint someone from your own
If you read if you read the makeup of the 7-member board, there's supposed to be 2 commissioners on it, so you wouldn't advertise. It ain't gonna take 6 weeks.
I'm not
for
saying
the
about
committee to
advertising for,
decide.
I'm not talking about advertising for the commission, I'm talking about for the public position.
That issue's
public
been
position.
taken care of. We've agreed to move on from that issue.
Right, so go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to say what I have seen and make a recommendation. So
Okay.
I have seen that the commissioners said that they would like to move it down to 5, which they did and they voted on, moved it down to 5. And they also said at the beginning meeting, they didn't really care where they all came from. So, and if the commissioners chose not to, by voting, moving it down to 5 and not voting Randy on there, they chose not to put a commissioner on there. There's nothing to say that the council can't appoint 2 people to make it 5. They could appoint a council person and Randy Cole back on it right now and be done with it, like Keith Hutt said. It'll be over. Now, you said a moment ago, Tom, that Monday you could either appoint Randy or Randy. So,
Right. You know, I
but do
can't
not
say
think-
right now that-
Personally, I do not think that you'll appoint Randy Cole, you'll appoint Randy Clevey. But the council could finish it right now.
Randy doesn't work.
That's just my personal.
No,
Stop, please.
What?
no.
I pulled away from the committee for a reason. That reason's still there. I do not want on this committee.
Okay. I'm
So
good
if
with
there's a
that.
commissioner appointed, it's Randy Coe, not
Great.
Randy
So
Coe.
I mean,
So it
okay,
doesn't matter whether they do it tonight or Monday.
right, but with that, with the bottom line here is, yes, we decided that 5 members we felt like was enough. We're discussing that now with the council. The council disagrees with that. So we can fix this.
Yeah.
I think go back to 7.
Okay, I mean,
That's my opinion.
right,
The only downside of going back to 7 is like Tom said, then you tie things up for 6 weeks on appointing.
Oh.
So I
the
think
ones from the public,
I don't think.
members from public.
Well,
right.
you still.
And you know, this stuff's got, and I'm not saying that I want to turn my back on the public, because I'm here for the public, I'm not here for me.
Well, you still can meet with the 5.
Exactly.
We could, I guess you could have meetings and approve.
The 5's a
stuff
quorum,
with the, 3 of the 5 show up, you got a quorum.
till we replace the
Yeah,
other
'cause
2.
And then you can always add 2 down the line.
Yes.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say, Keith.
Well, I didn't hear you say it.
I know, but
That's fine.
you weren't, okay, I'm not gonna.
Okay, I'm not either.
All right with that?
That's, I think we're in agreement.
Okay, I am.
That's what I said.
Are
we
you all
can.
right with that?
With what? Moving forward with?
Moving forward, and a
The-
quorum will be,
the
as
opinion-
of right now, 3 members will be a quorum of the
We need
5.
to-
And then they're going, during the next 6 weeks, they're going to fill the other 2.
If all 5 show up, it's a moot point.
Right.
So are we going to go ahead and fill the other public positions?
Not tonight,
We
No,
can't.
not,
we
I
have-
don't mean tonight. I
No,
mean
we have
with-
to-
With proper
within
notice.
6
Right.
weeks.
But we can do a councilman, and then Monday night, they can do a
I'm fine with
commissioner.
that. As I said, I just don't think it's appropriate for one single member of the entire county to represent the public. We need one.
And I
one
agree.
I agree with
And I
that,
think
Chair.
we
I
all-
agree with that.
I-
Although you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
But-
I just,
So, anyway, I guess people got their feelings hurt, and I apologize.
And I
You
do
know,
too. If I offended
And
anybody, I'll
we
just ask
didn't
for-
discuss that with the council.
Be on that every year.
Maybe I should
I'll
have,
do it.
Okay.
but I didn't, and you can't turn the clock back.
What do you want? The ARP committee.
So I'm asking do you want the council, I'm gonna serve it, 7 people? You want 7 on the ARP
We'll
committee?
start with 5 after Monday
Do you-
night, and then we will.
Do you want 7?
Advertise for the 2 public and add them on.
So he wants
But the
7.
ARP's not gonna wait.
Carla, do you want 7? David, do you want 7?
Hey, I'm saying that.
Let's do it.
Because right now you only have one councilman.
Danny, do you want 7?
I'll make the
I
motion.
think you need 7.
And
Okay.
And go 7.
Charlie, do you want 7?
Yes.
Okay, then the unanimous opinion of the council is that we continue or go on with the 7-member makeup of the ARP committee.
And if you want, I guess we can appoint the council member tonight.
Right. And
No,
I'll
that's-
make a motion for Keith.
But, anyway, so that's where I'm at. And like I said, I apologize, Randy. I apologize in public that don't think you did a bad job at all. You know, I mean, I think that you put a lot of time in it. So did Sherry, so did Tara, so did Aaron, Charlie, and myself, and and Greg did too. Now, with all that said, we will have that official discussion Monday night, because we can't have that discussion tonight. By law, we're not a commissioners meeting, we can't have that.
And Randy Cleveland does not want it. So-
He just said in public, he does not want it.
Several times, I think.
Several times. This is not the first time he's told me that
May I ask
he didn't
a
want.
question just real
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is there some sort of a mandate that tells us how many elected
No,
officials
no,
have to be on these?
No, there's no mandate to have one.
Yeah.
That was all
It
good.
could be turned right over to the council, and we could be in control of all that money.
Now,
No.
I'm gonna go for while we're talking about ARP and what my plan is the next few days. I've been asking, there's been some confusion on, and I've been asking, Pam, you know, I've been asking this. Once this committee approved those applications, 7 of them, they've been approved by the ARP committee, right?
Yes.
Okay. How do we get the money to them? How do we get the money to them?
What we discussed.
What's the
at
next
last-
step?
At the last official meeting that we had, we had all determined, and we did have a quorum, that we were waiting Baker Tilly approval, and then Baker Tilly would draw up a contract for these recipients to sign so that they were held to spending it as we determined.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners and the council have to approve us giving them that money.
Well, see,
But I wouldn't want to do that without Baker Tilly. We had also asked them to review and make sure that we didn't break any rules by awarding them to any of those 7. So I thought that's what we were going to do.
Right, with that said, I don't think we're in disagreement there.
Yeah.
That my plan was after tonight, when and I had all the confidence in the world that the council was going to approve that because we're going to use Baker Tilly no matter who pays them, out of the ARP fund or that they would be contacted and then, but my question is who asked for the request for the appropriation? Was it the ARP committee? I was made under impression that it was ARP committee made that, but then I think I'm wrong, but that's number one question to Baker Tilly. Is it, and it's unclear to me until I hear from them, do the commissioners need to ask for that additional appropriation, or is, since we went to the whole $3.7 million went to lack of revenue or loss of revenue, does that put it entirely in the council's hands, or does the commissioners have to ask for that appropriation? Or is it proper that the committee asks for that appropriation? I don't know. Number one question to Baker Tilly.
I'm thinking the commissioners.
But again,
But-
even before we
Huh?
ask-
You're thinking
I'm
what?
thinking commissioners would ask, but I don't know.
Yeah, we
Well-
have to.
11 that we had approved groups.
11.
Was it 11?
Yeah, they're right here listed.
Okay.
Okay, the red flags were the 3 mental health.
Well, we
As
wanted.
far as the nonprofit and the small business, I felt like we were fine with those because we followed the guidelines of what the government said. I think those could be distributed.
And we,
We would run it by Baker Tilly and say, this is what we did, is that okay?
run
Let's
by,
get this out.
again, we've already talked to them more than once, and hopefully that's a
It's the
short,
3 mental
inexpensive conversation. That, yes, we can move forward. I want to move forward with these applications that's already been awarded, already been advised to be awarded by the committee, right? The 11 or
Yeah,
at
Greg
least
said
7.
emails.
Yes, but as we discussed, nothing the committee does is final. It still has to be approved. We
So
send
what's
it
the
to
next
by the
move?
commissioners
And I was
and
confused
the
since the
council.
commissioners.
The commissioners should approve whether they want to go with what we said, and the council needs to approve whether they want to go.
Right,
with
but
what we
since the
said.
commissioner's plan is to take the entire $3.7 million and put it in the category of loss of revenue to the
I
council,
understand that.
does it still require an additional appropriation from the commissioners? That's my question
To Baker
to Baker Tilly.
Yeah, and
That's
you're
exactly.
you're talking about appropriation. I feel like that we agreed that we weren't gonna, regardless of all that, we weren't gonna just be able to decide on our own. We were gonna decide, and that you would basically go with our recommendations unless we were doing something rogue, meaning we would run it past the commissioners and council first.
Right, right. But with two commissioners on the ARP committee.
That's up to you guys.
No, when that decision is made by the ARP committee, does that by default make it a commissioner's decision?
I don't know.
Question from Baker Tilly.
Right.
Right, that question A-B, or 1B, But anyway, I would love to have, and if we need to do this, if the commissioners need to be the party that asks for additional appropriation, or if the money already sits where the council can or the council's the only step, whichever that is, then Monday at our meeting, I would like to vote on the additional appropriation request going to the council at their August 25th meeting. Yeah, that's their next meeting. So, I mean, let's move forward. I'm just trying to get
For
going.
that meeting, then you will have talked to Baker and Tilly.
Yes, I
Yes.
think that's a stipulation.
See,
Baker
we
and
wouldn't have
Tilly
been
has
having
to.
a meeting tonight if we had gone with what we were doing.
No. What I'm talking about, talking to Baker Tilly.
Yeah.
And I can't talk to Baker Tilly tonight.
Oh, no.
Right. But I can, and make sure that Monday at the commissioners meeting, that the commissioners have to make this additional appropriation, or by making the plan, is that automatically put the money in the commission? I want to hear Baker Tilly tell me that, one way or another. Yes, Stan?
Right now, you have, one council member on it, and you have one commissioner. And when you have your meeting, you're going to put Randy on.
Hey, we're gonna have another council member here in just a minute,
One
so.
right now, right?
Yeah.
The council needs to put one on.
So that'll make 5, and that'll be a quorum out of 7,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, 4 will be.
Pardon?
4 will be a quorum.
4 will be a quorum.
So
Yeah.
we're doing that tonight.
1 out of 5 can miss.
And I have a motion on the floor.
Charlie made a motion to
Okay.
nominate
So-
Keith.
And I'll second
Keith, Danny seconded. All
So-
in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4 with
Okay,
one
Sherry, Randy, can we put this behind us?
Yes.
Okay, let's go
Please,
forward, okay.
Randy, would you agree to put it behind
But
us?
I do
Please.
that. Sherry, I want to show you the minutes.
Charlie, one thing I want to.
Charlie, can you put it behind us?
Yeah, no, but I just,
Can we stop it?
Can you give us, I had somebody ask me if, I'd ask you a question on,
I'm done with
on the
subject.
church out to junior high. Have you talked to attorneys or anybody reviewing the ARP funds for the mental health out there?
That is going to be turned over to Baker Tilly.
Okay.
They're going to decide, because that was one of the red flags.
I thought that was the answer, but somebody had reached out to me to ask you
Yeah,
that.
that's a
And I
Baker
just
Tilly
asked the
question.
for
They're
you.
the experts in that. But, okay.
Okay,
But,
We go ahead.
I think we're done.
No, I got a question now.
Come on, Warren.
Well, I know, I want to get out of here too, because I gotta go.
who invited you? Hey,
This-
here.
Well, this ARP money, they keep talking about loss of revenue. When are they gonna open up applications for nonprofit entities?
Okay, our nonprofits already, has been.
Our government,
That's down the road. That's once we finish this part of it, then we want to look at infrastructure and government.
And what's the timeline on
yeah, what's the timeline?
We
I
gotta go
hope
to the
as
ARP
soon as the
meeting to find
committee
out
can get
who's
together
one member.
and
Well,
we can get it.
did the ARP pay for the computers in the courthouse?
That was agreed on earlier.
But then now everything, all the other county offices has to
County
wait,
officers, we're not going to pass anything on until we get to that point.
if there's anything left.
Well, there will be, because, even once we distribute this first amount, we just got the other 1.7 something.
Okay,
That's gonna be left.
that's why I was wanting to know when, like, the coroner's office can apply.
As soon
Because
as we can.
Because in my budget, I'm gonna come back and start asking the council for money otherwise.
I guarantee you, we will let you know.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
I made it. Thank you all for attending.
Did you get it back?
That thing worked out.